Hey everyone, it's 10 Types, and today I'm going to be going over every single pack in Pokemon TCG Pocket and trying to decide what the best one is. This isn't necessarily the best one to get, though it could be. Just going over the different cards and seeing which ones have different good cards. And there are technically more than four packs, but I'm going to really be going over the four packs, the three different genetic Apex packs, and then the Mythical Island pack. In terms of what you should actually get, you should focus on one to start off with if you're a new player, and that, watching this video, you might get an idea of what you want, and then you should try to get the cards that you want from that. Most of them, a few you won't end up getting. You can end up either getting them using pack points, or which is hard for EXs, but is useful for trainers or pre-evolutions or things like that. And then you can try to get them from wonder picks as well, and then potentially from trading. We'll see what happens with that pretty soon, I'm pretty sure. And then also you should move on to the next pack after that, because you do want to try to get different cards from the different sets to try out different decks. And each set has, the Pokemon on the pack is good. There's a bunch of good decks, or at least like probably two good decks from every pack, or two interesting ones. And there's also the promos. There are different promo packs, but obviously those are the worst. They only have one card in every pack, so that's bad. And then there's only a handful of cards from the entire set. So I guess Greninja and Butterfree and Lapras EX and even this Mankey are like decent cards, and Jigglypuff too. Like there are okay cards in them, but ultimately they're not really sets at all. There's kind of this whole promo set. And the promo set then I guess is the best set, because Pokeball and Professor's Research are probably the two best cards in the entire game, but they're not really interesting and it's not really comparable. And then there's cards that you just can't really open from packs. Like I believe this Moltres EX art you can't get for free. Well, you could get it through the free trial, but you can't get it just from a pack at all. So I'm not going to be talking about the promo cards, but with that out of the way, let's hop into the first pack of Genetic Apex. We'll go in order alphabetically. We got the Charizard pack, and I'm looking at limitlesstcg.com or pocket.limitlesstcg.com, which has all the Pokemon TCG Pocket cards, which is really useful. And it gives us this Charizard pack and then Mewtwo pack. We can see that they both have Whimsicott in them. I'm not going to be looking at just the shared cards or just the exclusive cards either. I'm looking at all the cards in the pack. And so with Charizard, we'll start things off. And I guess the best place to start is with the EXs. So you have 5 EXs, I believe, in every pack. Does Mystical Island have 5? I'm pretty sure it does. So with this set, with this pack, you have Executor EX, Charizard EX, Moltres EX, Machamp EX, and you also have some other EX. Oh, Starmie EX, yeah. So those are the 5 EXs. We'll start with the basic, which is I guess we'll start with Moltres EX and Charizard EX go together. And obviously Charizard EX is the Pokemon on the pack, and it's very solid. It's not broken. Of the 3-pack art Pokemon, it's probably the weakest of them. Mewtwo EX and Pikachu EX are amazing, though. Moltres EX is very good. Basic EXs are generally some of the best cards in the game, but I saw something, I think it might have been an article or something that was saying types are only good if they have a basic EX. Like, that's what makes the types good, and that's not necessarily true. There are some bad ones. The Lapras EX isn't particularly good. That's not in a set. It's in the promo pack exclusive to that, but not super strong there. And Moltres EX is not a strong damaging attacker, but it accelerates energy to your fire Pokemon. And I consider there to be 2 different fire decks right now. There's the Blaine deck, which we'll talk about within this pack, and then there's also the I'll call it the Moltres EX deck. You can have Charizard EX, you can have Arcanine EX, you could have both. You could even play it with like Scorch, which is not exclusive to any pack. But Charizard EX is exclusive to this pack, and it's actually a deck I don't have. I have the Charizard EXs, I don't have 2 Moltres EXs, and it's very good. It's not broken, but it's good. And then you could also pair it with Arcanine EX, which is in the Pikachu pack, so that's definitely one of the harder decks to get. You can get, I believe you could get Arcanine EX through an event, or you could potentially get it. It wasn't super hard if you tried to wonder pick it when you could, but it was not the free wonder picks. Regardless, that's from a different pack, so I guess that makes sense because they don't want all the fire EXs in the same pack, but still, this is the fire pack. And then you have the Blaine deck as well, which is the other fire deck, which is, as I said, we'll get to. You have Executor EX, which is a card that is playable on its own. It's a It's an efficient, cheap attacker with low damage ceiling and high HP, high retreat cost. It's almost like a wall, but a wall that does substantial damage. And Executor EX is pretty good. I don't remember what Erica is in. I think Erica is in Charizard. So yeah, you can pair Erica with Executor EX, and that's pretty strong. But generally, you're looking for some other EX or other grass Pokemon to pair with it. That could be probably not Lillian. Lillian's good. Lillian's in all the packs, but you have one of the other EXs, Venusaur EX or Celebi EX, which are both good grass EXs. They are honestly kind of similar in the fact that they're both setup based. Executor EX is not setup based, despite being a stage 1. It's easier to get going and doing what your goal is with it than Celebi EX, where you really need superior. And so Executor is good though within the metagame right now, but as its own card, it's also decent. I haven't really played Executor, mostly decks focused on Executor, because you have that lower damage ceiling, but it is a cool card and a decent EX. Then we have Starmie EX. Starmie EX is, in my opinion, really good. I think water is nice, but I don't like Misty. Starmie EX isn't as reliant on Misty anywhere near as much as the other water EXs. The other ones are all really reliant on it. There's 4 other ones, and without Misty, they're probably not attacking it or winning the game at like a reasonable level. So Starmie EX can do 90 for 2, which is really efficient. I believe it's one of the most efficient EXs, certainly up there. It has free retreat, which is nice. Its HP is certainly lower than Executor EX, but it is a cool EX. Charizard, I think, might have the best EXs. The last one is Machamp EX. Machamp EX, in my opinion, is pretty bad. It's not like a completely unplayable card. If you really wanted to play it, you could, but it's not very good. Then you have some single prizes as well in this pack. As I said, I'm not really going to talk about like Lilligant or Zipstrika. They're okay, but they're in every pack. And they're also not their own decks. But then I do think Victory Bell is an interesting card, but I don't think that'll see play until we get an evolution search Pokemon. But then I think it might. But then we have, as I said, the Blaine stuff. The Blaine deck might be the best 1-point deck because you have this Ninetales. This Ninetales is really good. This Rapidash is kind of weird. It's kind of outclassed by the one from I don't know if I'd say outclassed, but it's probably worse than the one from Mythical Island, but it's okay. It's definitely one that you can play and get good value off of. You could play Magmar if you wanted as well. And you could also play Farfetch, which I believe, you get for free in all of these starting decks, and it's good. And you could even play Kangaskhan, and Kangaskhan is a card that is pretty decent as a general colorless attacker. And so Ninetales, though, is the main attacker, and you pair that with Blaine, and that's a supporter, and that's all in this pack. So you get as I said, the 2 fire decks in this pack outside Arcanine EX if you're looking to play that. So that's pretty good there. In terms of the water stuff, you do have Greninja in this pack. Greninja is a card that I really love playing with. I played it some. I played it with a bunch, actually. I played it with Starmie EX. I played it with Gyarados EX, and I played it with Weezing, and I might have played it with some other things as well. It's really fun. Probably my favorite Pokemon in Pocket, potentially. It's definitely a pretty interesting card, allowing you to get some extra damage in play and do some actual spread damage. Not a ton necessarily, but it is a cool card and is something that doesn't take up your attack. It's one of the most, I don't know, I think there's a good chunk of interesting abilities, but it's one of the most interesting abilities. Then there is Primeape. Primeape's good. I just mentioned the promo pack at the beginning, and the other Mankey is really important for it. I do believe this Primeape's decent, though it's a bit of I described as a win more card, where if things are already going well for you, it goes even better. And then I guess Melmetal. I haven't played with Melmetal. I think this card's okay. I think Mawil's also decent. Metal barely has any cards, right? But these, I guess, if you want to play Metal, you got to play Charizard, or got to pull Charizard. It's ultimately really bad, but it is worth a mention. And then Meowth is also, I think Meowth is really good. You could have gotten Meowth from the event, the Chansey event with Meowth or whatever it was called. And so that's how I got my Meowths, but Meowth is definitely a really solid setup card. There's also the Chatot from Mythical Island, which we'll talk about, which I think is good. I haven't played it, honestly, but I've heard from some people that it's pretty decent. and might be better than Meowth. And obviously that's a personal preference thing because it's a colorless Pokemon, kind of like Kangaskhan and Farfetch'd, where you're just getting some early game value. It's not really the pressure and damage, but it's the pressure with card advantage. Then there's also Sabrina. Sabrina is really good. Sabrina is one of the top 3 supporters in Pocket. The top 3 are Professor's Research, Giovanni, and Sabrina. Though Sabrina is like better than Giovanni, worse than Research, but this is a really good card, so that's something really meaningful. Charizard's a pack where you can have a lot of even value throughout the different cards. There's a bunch of decent stuff. In terms of the highest tier cards, it's not as insane, but it's pretty good still. As I said, there's not really a wrong answer. Then you have the Venusaur pack, or the Mewtwo EX pack with Venusaur EX. You have Articuno EX. You have Gengar EX. You have Mewtwo EX, and you have Marowak EX. Marowak EX is okay. I mentioned Primeape. That's a decent fighting Pokemon. Marowak EX is also decent. There's a handful of these. Hitmonlee is also decent. It's not a stage 1, obviously, but it's a decent Pokemon. And it might be a bit more than decent. I haven't played with it. I played with it some, certainly, but I want to try it out even more with the new Marshadow and some other things, and it's kind of cool. And then you have, wait, did I say? Yeah, I said all of them. And then Gengar EX is also, I think it's pretty bad. Not terrible. I think it's on a similar level as Machamp EX. Then there's also Venusaur EX. Venusaur EX isn't very good because, like, theoretically when set up, it's insane, but that's true for, it's 4 energy on a stage 2, right? So that's a lot. There's Lilligant, which is in all the packs. You could get it here, and it's an easy card to acquire if you're opening different packs. But it's a stage 1, and then you also need the stage 2, and you need multiple energies on the stage 1. And then you also need multiple energies on the stage 2, realistically, and it's just really awkward. And then you have Superior, which is double stage 2s, and you still need multiple energies attached from your energy zone to Venusaur EX to actually attack with it. So, paired with Erica, which isn't even in this pack. Erica's in the Charizard pack, so that's kind of awkward. Venusaur EX is ultimately, it's not the best. It's not terrible. Definitely better than Gengar EX and Machamp EX, in my opinion, but not great, and is okay value on a stage 2 here. Then Articuno EX. Articuno EX is, I think it was regarded as one of like the top 5 EXs. I don't think it still is. I think a lot of people would say Gyarados EX is better now. They're different cards. Articuno EX, there was the Solar Articuno deck, which was played all over the place. It was one of the main decks I saw, and it's not the best, right? But it has the opportunity to get big donks, or at least turn 1 attacks through Misty, which is... Wait, is Misty not in this set? Misty is in... Oh, no, Misty's in Pikachu. What am I saying? Yeah, so Misty, which is in the Pikachu pack, and so you can pair those together. It's really strong. The Pikachu pack doesn't have a good Water EX, which is kind of weird that it has Misty, but doesn't have a good target for it. Blastoise isn't, particularly strong. But then you have Articuno EX paired with Misty and Starmie EX, or Gyarados EX, or which I do think is decent, though it's very energy hungry, or pairing it with just different things like Vaporeon. And it's very good. You do need Misty, but we're not looking at these cards. You're just saying, oh, you can only pair it with the stuff in this pack. Articuno EX is decent, though it's not as like dominant as I kind of want to say it was, at least in terms of plays before Mythical Island came out. Then you also, you have Golduck. I think, wait, no, Golduck is in all the packs, but that is a water line, which is decent. Probably good with Starmie. And then you have the Mewtwo stuff. I guess that's the main thing from this pack. Honestly, this is the first pack I went after because I got Marowak EX and then Mewtwo EX and Gardevoir. And this is one of the top decks in the game since it's come out. The other one is Pikachu. And there have been other decent ones, certainly, but Mewtwo EX with Gardevoir is really strong, and this is really the bulk of the set. You do also have Arbok, which is in all the packs, and then you have Weezing, which is in the Mewtwo pack. Weezing is really solid with Koga. There's Muck as well. Muck's definitely not a super strong card, and it's now kind of overshadowed by Scolipede, but Weezing's still good. Weezing's still a pretty solid evolution line, but in terms of a wall, it's also kind of outclassed by Druddion. There's also Dragonite. Dragonite's I don't really know what to say about Dragonite. It's a card. It's kind of cool. It's fun. It's not the best, but it's fun. And then there's this Pidgeot. I know some people like this card a lot. I'm not a massive fan, but it is pretty interesting. And oh, you got Old Amber, which is the only card in multiple sets in both sets. And Giovanni. Giovanni is here, as I said, it's a main supporter, though it's not to the level of Research or Sabrina, but it is a good card and useful in different decks. It's a card that sees a lot of play. Ultimately, this set, if you're really looking for Venusaur or like Marowak, which are okay, or Weezing, then you could go for this, but obviously the main reason is Mewtwo EX with Gardevoir, and yeah, those are good. And you don't get the Mythical Slab card, which is the Mythical Island, which is very important, but it's still a good pack to go for if you want a good deck and if you think Mewtwo EX is a deck you'd like. Then the Pikachu pack. The Pikachu pack has Arcanine EX, as I mentioned earlier, which is okay. Blastoise EX, which isn't great, but is a partner for Misty. Misty's a really strong supporter. And then you have Broxa deck that I have not actually tried yet. I'm kind of interested in it. Not great, though. Lieutenant Surge is a niche card within the lightning stuff. I'll quickly go over the other things, though. You have Butterfree, a fun Pokemon. I like it with grass stuff. It's not super strong. You can play that with Executor EX, too. Then there is also Hypno, which is an annoying Pokemon. I played against it some, and it's really annoying because it can put your opponent's active to sleep. You do have this Golem, but you probably play the other Golem, which is, so it's now outclassed. I mean, this Golem just isn't a super strong card. Then there is the Nidoqueen and Nidoking deck. That deck is very bad. I think I don't know if I played. I think I played against it once or twice, and my opponent's never gotten, I think, either stage 2 in play. It's pretty bad. Then Wigglytuff EX. Wigglytuff EX is a pretty annoying disruptive EX that puts your opponent's active to sleep, kind of like Hypno. And then there's the Jigglypuff from the promo pack, which is really important to that deck. And Wigglytuff EX is decent, annoying, and pretty solid. Then the most important thing from this pack is Pikachu EX, and Pikachu EX, in my opinion, is better than Mewtwo EX, but I know there are a lot of people who think the other way. And you can completely go either way. Either one's fine. It's up to you. Pikachu EX is more fast and consistent, but can't do as much damage. You do have Raichu as a big finisher with Lieutenant Surge, though it's not even as strong as Mewtwo EX. Then you have Magneton to even combo with Raichu, though I think Magneton's not great, at least at this point. Then you have the Electrode, and you also have Zipstriker, which is in every pack, but these are different options for Pikachu EX. You also have Pincurchin, which is in every pack, and Zapdos EX, which is good within Pikachu EX. Ultimately, it's probably I don't think it's a very good EX. I don't think I mean, it's okay. It's certainly something you want to play within Pikachu EX, but compared to a lot of the other basic EXs, it's pretty weak, but it's not a bad card within Pikachu EX. It does have an important role with potential for one-shots and also due to having its higher HP and different weakness. And its first attack's also meaningful. Then we come to Mythical Island, though. This is the first mini set we've seen and only has one pack here, and it has, again, 5 EXs. You got Celebi EX with Superior, very much like Mewtwo EX with Gardevoir. Yeah, that's just what I'd say about it. Then we have Gyarados EX here with Vaporeon as well, which you could play. Vaporeon is okay. Gyarados EX is a pretty strong attacker paired with Misty, though you do need to get somewhat lucky. Then there's also Mew EX, which is okay in some different decks. It's a little cool, versatile, and kind of annoying to play against, especially with Bunny Expeditioner, creating a pretty decent wall, though I don't think the supporter is that good. Then you have Blue and Leaf as somewhat universal supporters, kind of rivaling Giovanni and Sabrina. That's kind of what this is, like, the idea of these cards is in this pack. Then Druddigon, I mentioned earlier, is a wall Scolipede card to play with the Weezing line. Not this Weezing, though. Then you have Marshadow, which is a cool fighting Pokemon. Aerodactyl EX, which is a cool fighting Pokemon, which are, again, some decent fighting ones. Golem's also decent, but it's not like with these. Well, I don't know if Golem's decent. I know it's one that's played them, so some, though. Pokemon Flute's kind of interesting, paired with Pidgeot EX, which is a Pokemon EX. It's not great. A lot of the Stage 2 EXs aren't very good because they are, a lot of setup for okay value, decent value, but not insane. Mythical Slab is pretty insane, though. It's a really good item for Psychic-based evolution decks, so that's really good. And then there's like Dedenne and Pikachu and Raichu and some things, support for Lightning. There's the better Rapdash, a different Magmar. The big deck is Celebi EX Superior, but in terms of its level of dominance, it's decent, but it's not amazing. And then Gyarados EX is also good. I'd say it's a little better than Celebi EX, and so it's good, but it's not like super dominant. Ultimately, this pack doesn't have the level of dominance as the Pikachu or Mewtwo packs, but it does have and also doesn't have as many decks that are just within this pack. You really need to pair this with the older cards. It's more so in addition to the metagame and the other cards, but it is cool. There are a lot of really cool cards from this set, and generally Mythical Island I think is really fun. But ultimately, quick roundup of the 4 packs, Genetic Apex packs. You have Charizard for a pretty diverse and varied pack opening like experience, I guess, with different cards that are decent. You'll generally get some decent cards, but then you won't get the best of the best cards. I guess Sabrina's like best of the best, but the Pokemon are not. Then with Mewtwo and Pikachu, you have a handful of really good cards capped off by one deck, Pikachu EX or Mewtwo EX, which are really, since they come out, been arguably the 2 best decks in the game, and I expect will be that way for a little while. And then with Mythical Island, you have somewhere in the middle of those, of the Charizard versus the Mewtwo Pikachu stuff. And you have Celebi EX with Superior, which is a decent deck, one that was played a lot when the set dropped. And then you also have some additions to other decks. You have, again, a pretty varied pack opening experience, so lots of different things you can try out. But you can't try them out with just the cards in this pack, really, so you do need cards from other stuff. If you join the game, I wouldn't recommend just opening Mythical Island. I'd recommend opening one of the other packs to get something that you might enjoy. Certainly you can do whatever you want, but that's my recommendation. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. Tell me which of the packs is your favorite down below in the comments, but I hope you enjoyed. Consider liking, subscribing, hitting the bell, all that good stuff, and as always, I'm excited to see you in the next video.